to the Zimmerman trial on this day 7 of what happened. Crucial testimony in this trial. We're back with our legal panel. And Jeffrey, let me start with you this time and ask you this question. Once again, the prosecution, they allowed the interview that George Zimmerman gave Sean Hannity of Fox News to be played in court today. An interview that I must say was sympathetic to George Zimmerman and the case that he's making. Explain why you believe the prosecution allowed more actual statements from George Zimmerman, even though he's not on the stand and won't be subject to cross-examination.
Wolf, you can't ask me these hard questions because I have no idea. I thought it was a terrible idea. I thought it was, again, helpful to the to the defense. You know, maybe some of those jurors really don't like Fox News, so they won't like Sean Hannity. But other than that, I mean, I suppose someone who is following the ins and outs incredibly closely could identify some inconsistencies between the version he told Sean Hannity and other versions he's told, but they certainly didn't jump out at me. And again, I thought it was showing the defendant in a sympathetic environment without any opportunity for cross-examination, putting forward, at least on the surface, a credible version of what happened on this tragic night.
What was the strategy, Gene, of the prosecution in allowing this videotape to be played before the jurors today?
It's just another inconsistency, but I agree it was tough to see inconsistencies just jump out, and I was really focused on the jury during this. And let me tell you, it's a big multimedia screen, so I mean, you're watching a full movie screen as you're watching all of this. And remember, George Zimmerman was described as meek by one of the witnesses today, and you saw a meek person as they were talking right there in the minds of some. The jury was not taking notes, but the minute it was over with, and it took a while, they started writing notes in their notebook from what they had just watched on the screen.
Did you see some inconsistencies that would be beneficial to the prosecution, Mark, in that interview that George Zimmerman granted to Sean Hannity?
Well, as a background, I thought that was a terrible mistake to let any client go on TV and give a statement, because you know it's going to be used against you, but they very well may have lucked out. The issue is that he came across looking not like a depraved individual, not with evil intent. He came across as a decent guy, at least outwardly. Some things could offend some people, that it was the will of God. That could be a big, issue for some people, and not having any regrets and not doing anything different. Somebody could look at it the other way, though, saying he didn't have any regrets because it was either Trayvon Martin's life or his. At least that's what he believed. The biggest, we've already touched on one inconsistency that they have to be concerned about reaching with a gun. The other one that is really being focused on by the state is that George Zimmerman has said that after the fatal shot was fired, he then went ahead and rolled atop Trayvon Martin, and then he laid his arms out. There's no other witness anywhere that says that his arms were later tucked in, because that's when the first responders came. They saw that Trayvon Martin's were not laid out, Martin's arms were not laid out, but that he was atop them. Now, it does help him because it shows a reason why he would have been atop Trayvon Martin, as some of the other witnesses from the apartments or condos said. But there's nobody to say that, which suggests, at least that's where the prosecution is going, that George Zimmerman made that whole thing up about laying him out and he was really never atop him.
All right, guys, hold on for a moment, because we'll have more analysis of what happened on day 7 in the George Zimmerman trial. There's other news we're following.